Joining us now, retired Army General David Petraeus, the former CIA director during the Obama administration, a four-star general. Thank you very much, General. Good to see you again.
Good to be with you.
Well, the Biden administration says that Griner is being wrongfully detained. What can the U.S. do? I know now that she is being, quote, wrongfully detained, that means that the U.S. hostage negotiators can get into this. They were waiting for a while to see if maybe they would release her, right?
They can, and, they'll try to come to some kind of agreement. Perhaps there will be some kind of deal. This has been done in the past. In fact, there was recently a successful release of someone who is being held. So, I think that's very possible. But, of course, it just adds another layer of complication to the U.S.-Russia relationship at a time when Russia really is finding itself in a bit of a quagmire of Putin's own making in Ukraine. And, of course, experiencing enormous damage to their economy, their financial system, Putin's inner circle, and the business community, and also watching as some 350,000 or so of the most talented Russian citizens have left the country. They don't want to live in a country anymore that is the pariah of the world.
Now, after weeks and weeks, months really, of trying to get the Russians to take a call from the Pentagon, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin did speak with the Russian Minister of Defense today. It's the first time since before the invasion, since February 18th, and that they spoke for about an hour, according to the Pentagon, that there was back and forth communication. Secretary Austin stressed the need to keep the communication lines open, thinks that that message was received. It's highly unusual, as you would know better than I, that there was no communication up until now. How important is it that they're finally talking?
Well, it's perhaps an indication, again, that Russia is trying to think its way through at least the beginning of what could be an end game. But let's keep in mind that the individual who is probably the most important in that particular equation is President Zelensky of Ukraine, who has seen his forces now strengthened enormously by the tremendous addition of heavy artillery pieces, 90 of them, plus 190,000 rounds of ammunition just from the U.S., but also from UK and other NATO nations, and a variety of other weapons systems, other military capabilities and supplies. They are on the counteroffensive to the east of Kharkiv. It appears that they could actually drive the Russian forces not just out of artillery range of the city, but all the way across the Russian border in the east. And then the question is, does that give President Zelensky and his forces a sense that they can go on the counteroffensive elsewhere? Can they continue further south from that, threaten the lines of communication between the Russian logistical hub in Belgorod, in Russia, of course, and the Russian forces that had been trying to push in from the east, the new focus of Russian elements since they withdrew from Kyiv and also from Chernihiv and Sumy in the north. So I think that's the dynamic that we need to watch in the days and weeks that lie ahead, whether or not the Ukrainians can, with the additional support from the arsenals, with an S on the end of democracy, push the Russians back. And if so, then President Zelensky's objectives will continue to expand, I would assume. And the question is going to be then, how far can they do that? Noting that, of course, President Putin did not declare mobilization during the celebration of World War II victory in Moscow on Monday, nor did he declare war. He is still calling it a special operation. So that's where we are, I think. And again, President Zelensky is the one really to watch because it's going to be his aspirations, I think, and the possibilities that the battlefield is presenting to him with the additional support from the U.S. and other NATO countries.
And Russia now says that it will retaliate if Finland joins NATO. They're now saying that they are going to join. They're being welcomed with open arms. The president spoke to the prime ministers in Finland and Sweden today, indicating such strong U.S. support, bipartisan support. This will double the size of the border with Russia and NATO. Do you think that this is going to be provocative to Russia, or is Russia so far back on its heels that it may take this in stride? I mean, is there any way to predict what Putin might do next?
Well, it will be provocative. The question is, what real options does Russia have? The last thing they need is to open up another military front. They can't even deal with the one fully that they've established with the invasion of Ukraine. They're going to be fighting very, very hard with the forces that they have available, with not much in the way of replacements for either forces or the weapon systems that they've been losing in very substantial numbers. They have announced already they're going to cut off the electricity that Russia flows into Finland. That'll be the first of the actions they'll take. Presumably, there could be some others involving whatever else they export to Finland that might be of value to Finland. But at the end of the day, I think the military options are really relatively limited. And I don't think you're going to see some kind of preemptive strike before Finland is formally within NATO. And of course, it's also important to note that the UK Prime Minister has been up there recently. He and also the US have provided assurances to Finland for that period between the time that they apply for membership and are actually accepted. And that should be a fast track process, according to the NATO Secretary General.